Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you today?
I'm great. Nice to be here.
It's great night in Singapore. How was your experience preparing for the conference, which will become tomorrow?
It's been good. We have a booth, Matcha booth. We just launched the new version of 0x API that's used by Matcha. We have very cool merch, but I think it will be an exciting experience for us.
Do you have any plans in the Matcha about the intents?
So we currently do not do intents per se on Matcha. However, we did spend time investing in I call it a solver, this thing that produces the quotes and routes for our users. And we are going to keep investing in that thing because we believe that giving user the best price and the best execution is the most important thing in DeFi at this point.
What do you think potential of intents? It will solve and help Web3 to simplify the user experience, which is quite complexity right now?
So I personally think it's not really due to intents, but it's due to all of these gasless mechanisms. Intents are one incarnation of those. We have our own things called Matcha Auto. The thing is that as a user, you sign a message and you forget about everything. The solver or the driver or worker, however you call it, takes care of the submission, takes care of the execution. This is the part that actually scares people and people don't want to use it. This is something that drives them away from blockchains, clicking, not knowing what's happening. If you can make the user not deal with that stuff, I think it's a very valuable add-on, and I think these kind of solutions, be it intents, be it other gasless protocols that exist, can greatly help with the UX for unexperienced traders. And we see that this thing gets adoption and users like it.
What do you think intents will help with MAV?
So I think it's also a complex problem. It depends on the intents protocol and its internals. But in general, if you think about the intent platforms, CowSwap, 1inch, wherever, doesn't matter. You have these solvers and they compete. And the way they produce the routes has gone better. Last, say, 2-3 years, these routes gone better. The better the routes, the less MEV they generate. For example, if the route is good, it should probably generate very little or no background MEV, at least on chain. And you can see that the best solvers right now, they do not leave any MEV on the table. You can probably make an arbitrage between centralized and decentralized exchanges after a large swap, but there's very little on-chain arbitrage that's being left. So I think this is mitigated. Also, a lot of intense, gasless, or even just normal trading these days is done via RFQ protocols or private liquidity. And these swaps, they typically have amounts that are just signed and agreed by the user and the market maker, and they cannot suffer any MEV. So I think these solutions that reduce the bad externalities are there. They're getting more and more traction. It's a good thing. Also, intents, anything, again, that's not being submitted by the user but someone who's qualified to do it, they can submit it to a private mempool, direct to the builder. They can not reveal the transaction, and this greatly decreases the MEV. You can see the analysis that if you look at MEV blocker or any private transaction submission service, the slippage, so the difference between the set quote and the settlement is very low. The second you get rid of sandwiching, there is very little MEV left. And if you can get rid of sandwiching and intense private submission deal with that, the user experience gets just much better.
MEV deals, most of them coming from the AMM system, when we have like a pool, when we have a slippage, but intents is more about like RFQ or limit order. What do you think in the next few years? Will we see that the people will left AMM system because like new generation of application get the possibility to swap or do any action directly?
So first of all, right now, settling on intent-based protocols is often using AMMs. It's RFQ and AMMs. You cannot escape AMMs. And right now, the volumes still are not big enough to get any kind of matching really happening. So this is just AMM. This is like settling on an intent-based platform is not different than settling through a standard swapping API, be it 0x, be it 1inch, being Paraswap, whatever, doesn't matter. The procedure, the stuff that happen under the hood, they are the same. However, if the flows get big enough and there is some opportunity for internalization, I think this might actually help a lot. And you might see maybe the market, the AMM share go down and more things getting matched, but I think we're pretty far away from this. It's still, again, whatever, like you run analytics on any intent-based platform or routing API, this is just AMMs, AMMs, and AMMs with some RFQ. It's been like that for years. Maybe the share of RFQ has grown, but still AMMs are the main factor, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
What do you think the main blockers right now? Like, is it liquidity, lack of liquidity when we talk about the solvers? Because like most of the liquidity still keeping like in the AMMs and there's always they cannot use it. This is the biggest problem, or what is the other blockers?
Yeah, I think it's just having funds. I think some of these, maybe a lot of these solvers have some background in arbitrage or like on-chain stuff, atomic stuff, which doesn't require any funds. And the stuff the fact that they don't have any funds on their own that they can manage, maybe they can quote a bit better. I think it really limits their opportunity. And if you look at many of these protocols, a lot of volume is just filled by market makers that have their own inventory. Sometimes they have tens of millions of dollars. This helps. But I think even tiny amounts, like relatively tiny, of private liquidity or proprietary liquidity for solvers can be of great benefit to them.
What do you think? What is the innovation we were expecting like to see in the next future, especially in DeFi trading, automation, or account abstraction?
Oh, that's interesting. I think this gasless thing might actually be the entry point for many new users. I mean, account abstraction, gasless, they're similar. This stuff that gets rid of all the hard problems. And I think this is still not great. The UX right now, you click on random stuff, you sign something, it's still scary. I think there must be a way to do this without actually abstract it all away, hide it under the hood, and the experience should be like clicking on Robinhood. And I think we can actually get there. It's just a problem that hasn't been solved yet.
What do you think if next futures the builders will solve the problem with the gas, have like really good user experience in account abstraction, so all the like signature will be for free. We don't need to pay for approve, permit, and all these things, and we will have like unified liquidity. For example, like is it enough to stay in front of the door of mass adoption, or we still need to keep building? For example, if you want to like trade like stocks, and we can use a crypto for this, and the user never knows that under the hood they use a crypto.
I don't have an opinion on that.
I hope that in the next future we will see like all the transactions around the world, and that under the hood we will be using the crypto, and users they will never know about it.
Well, we would love to get more users, that's for sure. Yeah, UX I think is a very big barrier right now. I don't think that many users care about best price. The one that trades big amounts do, but the average person doesn't. I think the biggest issue is just the complexity, transactions, gas. They don't like it. They prefer Coinbase or something.
So many actions, so many settings, the scales that they can put something on and get lost.
Easy to get lost, easy to lose funds, easy to get scammed. I mean, one thing I like, for example, there are projects that would pre-scan the transaction and tell the user if it's a scam or if they're losing funds. I think it's a great innovation and it improves the UX a lot. And maybe we can see more things like that, that even if you're unable to abstract away the complexity, you can have something in place that will tell you're doing something wrong. This can have big impact. Just an example of something that probably can get traction and be a big value add in the ecosystem.
Your personal opinion, what do you think AI will help us to solve the problem with scams, like make some automation data analytics, or maybe have like some base where we can like black all these wallets or actors who are trying to cheat?
So I think that even right now, some of these scams are actually fairly obfuscated and sophisticated, and like humans are not really good at this, and AI is even worse. So maybe in the future, but right now, no. I think it's too delicate and too complex.
What is your next plans in the Matcha?
The thing we'll be focused the most in your future is chain expansion. We will be working on having Matcha on probably as many chains as possible. We want to go where users are, and we see there are on various chains that we do not support, or actually very few aggregators or platforms support. And we go where users are, and we'll try to make their swapping experience as good as possible.
So does that mean that you're planning to crack new, not EVM networks?
We'll focus on the EVM ones. There's still a lot of them that do meaningful volume. Maybe in the future, then we'll look at something that's non-EVM.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.